Hello, so as discussed, this will just be a quick video for you to use as reference for any chords that you find yourself scratching your head over in the future. We'll cover all of them, so we'll start with just a quick recap on major and minor chords, which I know you know really well anyway, but just to sort of lay the groundwork again. Then we'll cover sevenths, a quick reminder of what those sus chords are, and finally I'll throw in the slightly stranger types of chords, diminished chords and augmented chords. So just a quick reminder with the major and minor chords. So with your major chord, take C as an example. In root position, fancy way of saying the note that names it is the bottom note. In root position, to work out your ingredients for your major chord, as you know, you got four semitones, being sure to count every single note, black or white, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a further 3. That's your recipe for a major chord. And as you know, you can then jumble those 3 ingredients up in any order you like. You've still got the same chord. Think of them as fruit salads. So once you use the 4 and the 3 to work out your ingredients, C, E and G, I don't know, celery, eggs and grapes. Doesn't sound like the nicest fruit salad. Doesn't matter what order you chuck those into the bowl, you'll get the same thing. So celery, eggs, grapes, eggs, celery, grapes. That's still a C major chord because I've got one of each of the things that I worked out at the beginning. For a minor chord, you just switch those numbers. It's a 3, so for C we'll go boing, 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 then 4, boing, 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 boing. Gives you this sort of pattern here. So, I found a wonderful way of illustrating this. Think of it as you've got 2 shapes, you've got 2 building blocks. You've got the block where you go up 4 semitones, and you've got the block where you go up 3 semitones. If you have the 4 on the bottom and the 3 on the top, you get a major chord. So up 4 and then 3. Swap them around, you get your minor chord. Now, adding sevenths. So 2 types of sevenths that you need to look out for. There's the one where it's just the number 7, which is by far the most common. So for example, C7 or C little m7. So it'd be C7 or C minor 7. So let's take C7 as an example. So we play our C major chord as before. Remember, unless there's a little m, a lowercase m, or a minus sign in some American books, you assume the chord is major, that the little m and the minus sign tell you it's a minor chord. So C7, we've got a C major chord. Then the easiest way to work out what you add if there's a number 7 is you add the thing that's 2 semitones lower than the root. So in this case, it's the type of C chord. So if you go 2 down from a C, you get a B flat. So if we add a B flat to a C chord, you've got yourself a C7. It'd be exactly the same if it was C minor 7. So C minor chord, and we add the thing 2 semitones down from C, which is the same thing. It's still a B flat. So that's a C minor 7. That's a C7. The only difference is whether the chord at its kind of heart is major or minor. So another way you can think about that, if you take, say, the C major chord, what you're actually doing is you're putting another 1, 2, 3 on the top, which gives you the same result as going 2 down from the root, but I won't go sort of too much into that for now. Now the other type of 7 is a major 7th, which is written as Maj 7, M-A-J 7, or sometimes just as a triangle for shorthand. For your major 7th, it's the same principle, but instead of going down 2 semitones from the root, you go down just 1. So a C Maj 7, or a C triangle, let's call it. You got your C chord, and you add a B in this case, because B is a mere semitone down from C. Doesn't sound very nice in that order. Let's try this. It's a bit warmer. Same if you had a C minor with a major 7, so that'd be written as C, capital C, lowercase m, then either Maj 7 or a triangle. You'd have your C minor chord, and you'd add in a B, same as before, because B is still the note that's a semitone down from C. Now, quick reminder of how these sus chords work then. So let's stick with C as our example. In a sus chord, you get rid of the middle note, or what would be the middle note in root position. So if you're playing a C chord, C on the bottom, then we'd either have the E or the E flat, depending on whether we want a C major or a C minor chord. And it's that middle one we get rid of. So you're left with just the outer shell, and you replace it either with the note that's 2 semitones up from the root. So in this case, it would be a D. Remember, 2 semitones is just the same thing as a whole tone. But just for simplicity's sake, I'm referring to everything in semitones here, just to be consistent. So we replace the E or the E flat with either the D, because it's 2 semitones up from C. That would be a C sus2, because we're adding in what would be the second note of the scale. Or we can add in the thing instead that's 2 semitones down from the top note. So either 2 up from the bottom or 2 down from the top. And that would be a sus4. And the reason it's important, again, to count the semitones is because that means you won't ever get into trouble with black notes. For example, in an F chord, it's an F major chord, F minor chord, as you know. If I wanted an F sus2, simple, I just put the G in instead, because G is 2 semitones up from F. But if I wanted an F sus4, I wouldn't add the B, I'd add the B flat, 'cause it's got to be the thing 2 semitones down. So you'd have... You can hear that sounds nicer. If I'd added the B, it would sound horrible. It just clashes like mad. Okay, final couple of chords I said I'd mention are these ones that don't come up very often at all compared with the others, which are augmented chords and diminished chords. Diminished chords sound like this. Augmented chords sound like this. Quite simply, going back to the 4 and the 3 thing that we had with major chords, so just to recap, 4 on the bottom, 3 on the top is major. 3 on the bottom, 4 on the top is minor. Diminished is just 3 and 3. So C diminished, go up 3 to the E flat, up another 3 to the G flat. So 3 and 3 is diminished, and you guessed it, 4 and 4 is augmented. So from C, you go to C, then up 4 semitones to the E, then up a further 4 semitones to the G sharp, and voila! Happy practicing!